Hey, what's up, folks? Matt Bellman, Ryan Kostrowski. We are coming here. We're going to try to do this as more of a daily segment. As most of you guys know, my man over here, Bellman, is our resident degenerate when it comes to sports betting. I know, like you and a bunch of guys, like in the Facebook groups, a couple of guys that you really love the sports, but have talked about this stuff a lot more. I don't really bet on sports, so I don't get into the conversation as much. But you want to start talking about once a day. We're usually going to go through like one of your favorite picks for the viewing public like this. So that all being said, have at it, Hoss.
We're gonna go with two picks today. Double your fun for the first video. And even though you don't know that much about it, you're still gonna be talking about it because we're making this video together. And you're especially gonna be talking about this first game. So as as in anything in life, especially in sports and DFS, it's all about picking your spots. Um, I agree with you that I think when you talked about Giannis earlier in the day, that I think that he plays really well tonight. That they might have this game circled after losing to them before the All Star break, and after coming off a tough loss in Miami last night. And I think all that stuff is baked into the line right now.
2 nights
11
ago, though,
point.
just to be clear.
What'd you say?
Not last night, the night before that.
Their last game, excuse me. I think that is baked into the line, and a good Indiana team. I want the plus 11 here. I see it anywhere from plus 11. You got to pull up. Yeah,
Seems to be plus 11 across the board right now.
plus 11 across the board. I'm not even sure if it's going to move. I like it anywhere in the double digits above. I just think this is a single digit game. I'm not saying that Milwaukee can't cover because obviously it's Milwaukee at home. And I'm not saying that Milwaukee won't win this game because they more than likely do win this game at home. However, against the spread, they obviously lost last time out as a road favorite against Miami. The game before, they were a double digit spread against Charlotte, did not cover. A double digit spread here, the line is just too big against an Indiana team that we've talked about. They play hard, they need wins. They're not going to win this game, but they're going to play to win the game. What's your take?
All right, so I think the best way I can approach some of these that I have an opinion on are going to be agree, disagree, or abstain. And I think on this one, I would probably abstain because I think the spread's about right. If you had to ask me going into it, as you know, I'm pretty good at guessing what the spread is. Doesn't mean I'm good at guessing the results, but guessing what the spread's going to be according to the experts. And I feel it's about right. 10 to 11 points seems pretty feasible to me. Um, Milwaukee's three-point shooting hasn't been great. It's been a really weird pair of games for the Bucks, so I don't want to read too much into it. But at the same time, they went almost a full regular season's worth of games without scoring under 100 points. Longest streak in NBA history. Have now scored less than 102 straight. Eric Bledsoe's played really poor, which is interesting. Are they going to bounce back tonight? Are they not? I don't have a good opinion one way or the other, so I'm very neutral on this one.
I get that. I figured you definitely wouldn't want to be pro betting against the Bucks. It's just a lot of points for a good Indiana team. And again, as I said, am I going to be shocked if Milwaukee covers? This isn't like a play of the year for me. A tough board tonight. And I like to be contrarian. And the next play of mine is going to be even more contrarian that I have a feeling you're going to disagree on.
I was because going back to Milwaukee, I mean they average winning by 12 and a half points, so it's not very weird to think of them winning by 11.
No, it's not weird, but it's all about tonight, right? And
Yep,
a lot of those games has Milwaukee winning by 20 plus against worse teams. I
definitely,
those numbers, as we always say, you can kind of make numbers and mold them into whatever you want.
definitely. All right, what was your next one, sir?
So this is one that's going to be very contrarian. A lot of people are going to not want to take this team. It's a hold your nose type play, and that's going to be Washington getting the points in Portland. I understand the spread. I'm encouraged that it opened at 8.5, is down to 7.5. Lillard probable, and this is just a strong play for me. It's a stronger play than the Milwaukee play for a couple reasons. You've got Portland coming back from a tough East Coast trip. Not that many games, but they were way east. They played in Orlando, Atlanta. They only won one game on that trip. They did win their last game against Orlando. I always love taking a team in their first game back, especially a big favorite again like this. And then also you've got Dame Lillard's return. So that's a good thing for Portland. I expect them to play well tonight, but maybe not as well as other people think. We talk about this all the time. First game, when a star gets hurt, team generally plays better because all their guys are needed more. And you see the reversed effect a lot of times. The first game, the star comes back. Not saying that has to happen tonight. I just think this is too many points for a Portland team that, quite frankly, is not that good. Um, Washington is not that good either, but give me the dog here, getting like 7.5, 8.
All right, so Portland is 16-13 at home this year, while Washington is 8-23 on the road on an extended West Coast trip, 3 games and 4 nights. You're right. I wouldn't feel comfortable betting that one. Although some of the points I think that you can go with here that might, where I can see why you might want to get there. I mean, they haven't played with Lillard in a couple of weeks now. So the rotation might be a little funky. The flow might not be there 100%. Lillard might be taking too many shots, but oftentimes when jump shooters miss 3-4 weeks like this, they aren't 100% spot on. So I don't hate the play. Are you just picking Washington to cover them?
Oh yeah, I don't think Washington wins this game. I just like them to cover the 8 points. And always like in the NBA, and that's why betting NBA is a difficult proposition a lot of times because when you get games like this, the spread's 5, 6, you get fouls. I just think it's a competitive game and 8's too many. But Portland will win this game.
See, that's where I don't know. It seems like such a small difference between winning a game. Like there's so many blowouts in the modern NBA.
There are, but that's still a lot of points. I mean, the money line bet, which when I say, I guess I'll take a step back. I'm not going to be like shocked if Washington wins this game, but I'm not interested in putting good money on it. I'm interested in the +8. I just think it's too many points.
Fair enough. On an average day, how many games do you usually bet on?
I try to bet the least amount of games as possible. I think the less is more type thing. More games you bet, the more opportunities you have to lose. I really try to hone in on the games I really, really like. So again, it depends on any given night, day, because there's different amount of games, different games I might really like. It's been a week or so where there hasn't been many games that I've loved. So I've taken a little bit of a step back and only bet like 1 or 2 games a night. It happens.
So for any of you guys listening, I know you're a big proponent of this, not just for sports betting, but also for DFS. If you don't like a slate, don't spend a lot on it. Go for the ones you feel very comfortable, you feel like you have an edge. I know that works for you, especially in baseball. When you think there's way too many people on Coors Field, for example, and you got another crush spot, you put way more eggs to your basket on that day than trying to spread it out evenly day by day.
Yeah, and for me at least, like I feel better when I lose because at least I took my shot, when I thought I really had a shot.
Like, for example, like let's just say you believed in Orlando today and you want to bet them to win the game. What would be your, what kind of money would you see on a return like that?
Let me check so I don't give any false information here.
Okay.
It's a good example though.
And I'm trying to ask questions from a non-sports bettor perspective for hopefully people who maybe listen to this that aren't quite as into it, get the lingo down a little bit more, have a better idea what they're looking at.
For sure, they're good questions because you got the same kind of situation in the Washington game with a similar spread.
Yep.
So right now, if you bet Orlando on the money line, if you bet $100, you'd win $232 back. So if you bet $1,000, you'd win $23.22.
Okay. I guess if I were to take my shot somewhere tonight, I like the idea of the Knicks piggybacking off their good win against the Rockets the other night and beating Utah with the -8 right there.
I like the way Utah is playing right now after struggling, beating Washington in the second half and then beating Cleveland last time out. I'm not saying that they couldn't lose, but I don't think they lose this game personally.
Yeah, the Knicks are terrible. I'm not going to fight you on that one too much.
You just said Orlando. I think they have a better shot at beating Miami than Utah, than New York of beating Utah, honestly.
Got it. Completely understandable. So that's what we got for today, guys. Thumbs up on the video is appreciated. And as long as we're on here, want to take a second to mention that Overlay has a monster jackpot over on the $22 contest. I know we brought it up a couple times already today. No shame in bringing it up one more time because eventually somebody's going to hit it and go 12-0 and is going to win over $15,000. That would be a hell of a payday.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't beat it. I'm excited about playing tonight. I'll tell you that much.
Well, best of luck to you guys. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll try to come on here and do this most days.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, and just for anybody still listening, you are generally more of an underdog bettor. So just people know what they're getting into. You're not one to bet favorites a lot, and you are probably somebody, I'm just guessing, you're more likely to bet an underdog to get multiple times your money back and not just more of the straight 50-50 types.
I like to play money lines, yes, but I also play more spreads because money lines are hard to hit. Like for example, it's hard to say this because you have to like experience it, but I've been on so many like money line dogs in baseball, and baseball is my favorite sport to bet. And it's where really you can bet underdogs, so there's no spread. It's just straight up, right? And we're gonna get there soon. But I've been on so many plus 190 underdogs, plus 180, plus 200 that have literally been winning, 4-2, 5-1 in the eighth inning, and more often than not, and math wise, it doesn't make sense. They lose. So it seems like it's pie in the sky. It seems like it's, you can have your cake and eat it too, but it's hard to bet those money lines because they're a dog for a reason.
Gotcha. I did briefly get into betting sports more frequently a couple of years ago. I always enjoyed betting game flow more, point totals. Like if I was playing betting on baseball and I would see that, the game was projected for 9 runs and I'm looking at a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing out and a couple of bad pitchers, I'm like, 9 runs. I mean, and then you bet on it, they score 15, you feel really, really good about it. Does it always work out? Of course not. But that was what I got into.
Go, I'm more of an under better because, the public usually loves overs. In the NBA now, like I can't take an under in the NBA now.
I can't do three-pointers. Yeah, man. The crazy amount of three-pointers you're shooting these days is insane.
These games go over by a ton of points. You had a total last night, one of the highest ever, of 248 in New Orleans. It went over by like 30 points.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. Minnesota plays defense. I'm trying to give a comparison, but let's just step. They don't play defense.
Yeah, I was going to say they don't play defense. Exactly.
I was trying to compare it to trash or garbage or hot garbage or whatever you might think of, but they just don't play defense.
But they're going to get so much better when Towns comes back.
They might get worse because at least Naz Reid maybe tries.
Yeah, they might get worse defensively, and that's sad.
All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Appreciate y'all watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.